And here's the thing. I mean, the reason I was going on and on and on about this theism versus atheism and Gnosticism versus agnosticism thing is that using those two different sets of terms to figure out where you're at is more accurate than what people normally do, which is say there's theists who believe, atheists who don't believe, or atheists who believe there isn't, and then agnostics in the middle who just don't know. And that actually leads to a lot of problems, the biggest one of which is theists like to bash people over the head saying, no, you're an agnostic because you're not one of these people we call atheists who absolutely for sure says there isn't a God. Therefore, you need to just shut up because you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's awfully difficult to
It's ridiculous.
to deal with. It's not helpful to the discussion, but it gets used that way all the time. So I try to steer people away from looking at things in that simplistic way.
Okay.
But for your trouble with your wife, boy, you know, I think the more important thing is not whether one of you believes in an invisible supernatural force. The important thing is whether you like each other. You know, that's really the important thing. And if you like the other person, you're not going to bash them over the head with your viewpoint, whatever your viewpoint happens to be.
Yeah.
Right? That's the important thing.
I mean, I think myself, I'd become the type of person, like, when somebody first finds religion and they get all excited about it and they feel like they want to go and bash everybody over the head with it, I'm the other way. I'm excited to learn the truth, and I kind of want her to learn it. I want everyone to learn it. And I've learned that, you know, just like a religious person who goes out and spouts it, you just can't do that. You just can't. I mean, she's going to have to.
Well, some people can. Some people can, but you know, that's a decision for you to make. I don't think there's any. Like I told the woman from California, who was having trouble expressing her atheistic views. It's like, well, you know, there's nobody saying that you have to be vocal about it.
Yeah, you know, in my experience, it's not good to be. You get a lot of negative treatment when you voice it, especially in my community. You know?
Right, and it's your situation is what matters to you, right? There's plenty of other people out there, being the atheist spokespeople, you know, Richard Dawkins and so on, and they're doing a fabulous job, and you know, people like that are in that position can go ahead and make a big noise about it, and I'm glad that there are such people. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean everybody has to be like that.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for calling, Bill.
Bye-bye.
And let's see.
It is, I'm telling you, it's Dear Abby of atheists.
Yeah, well, if we were Dear Abby, we would say seek marriage counseling, because that's what she says to everybody. And she gets paid for it.
Well, there's that, too. That would be different.
Yeah, that would be different. That would be nice, too. I happened to notice another link from my search for Obama meeting with atheists that is just, you know, hilarious. Media Matters found that Sean Hannity declared that this meeting was special treatment for atheists, disregarding the fact that the president has already met with Pope Benedict, the Dalai Lama, the Mormon president, and Jewish leaders.
Right.
And he's meeting Pope Benedict a second time, which already makes just that one religion get twice as much attention as us.
Right. So who's getting the special treatment?
Yeah. Dumbass. So next we have Mike in Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, Mike.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
Good. I'm wanted to actually talk about the life expectancy discussion that was brought up.
First caller, yeah?
Yeah, from the first caller. I think one of the things he might have been getting at was that by saying that theists and atheists have similar life expectancies, that maybe like theism isn't that bad. Like, you know, people, they have a belief in God, but they still carry on with their life the same as an atheist. They still, you know, make basically all the same decisions, and then
they don't though. And you know, that was my point by bringing up the fact that most theists do get the benefit of medical technology, which has come from science, which has at the very least come from setting down superstitious assumptions about how the body functions and superstitious rules about what you are or not aren't allowed to study about biology or believe about biology, and go ahead with the hard work of actually figuring out how things actually work and building coming up with the medicines and the medical techniques and
you mean like the way that there used to be religiously motivated injunctions against dissecting corpses to see what's
excellent
inside.
Example, right? So I think that we need to take into account that a society formed entirely of those people who are in religious organizations who would be against the developments that led to the medical technology we've already got. Those people would be living less long if they were running things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying. I just think that all those things that you were talking about, the scientific discoveries, I don't see those as being incompatible with theism or even religion for that matter, since you got like the director of the National Institute of Health, Francis Collins, who's like a extremely religious person.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating if you look back in history to watch what issues were great big deals with religious organizations, say 100 years ago, that are now generally accepted. It's the religions that are being dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century. And making special exceptions and changing their views. So if you say you don't think they're incompatible, to the extent that that's true, it's only because the religionists don't actually stick to their guns if you watch their beliefs over time.
Right. The individuals. I mean, there was this guy, Thomas Kuhn, who wrote something about called The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, where he was talking about how if you look at the history of scientific ideas, like Copernicus saying that that the Earth actually goes around the sun rather than the other way around.
Yeah, there you go.
What happens is not that the individuals who believe that outdated stuff change their minds. What happens is they die, and a bunch of new people come in who have been hearing that and accepting that as something that makes sense. And didn't start with this culture that was fully saturated in the idea that the Earth has to be the center of the universe. And so the young people grow up and become the old respected scientists, and the old respected scientists who thought that the Earth was the center of the universe are dead. And religion goes through that same cultural shift over time, although they don't wanna. Look at how much gay ministers are in the news these days, right? That wouldn't have even been a question 100 years ago. I mean, there's no way that those people would have come up. And now, right, they're not fully accepted, but they are. I mean, there's an active debate, and there are a whole bunch of people fervently defending the idea that there should be more gay ministers. And 100 years from now, that probably will not even be an issue anymore.
Which is
there will just be gay ministers everywhere.
And which is not to say that therefore, because religions change over time, that they are not a force for regressive social and scientific views. Because they are, because they're always saying that they knew, the truth all along. The religions don't fess up about the fact that they're changing all the time. They don't look at their own history, and when they do, they brush it off as if it didn't matter. But when in fact what it does is demonstrate that they were wrong all the time.
Right. Or nowadays you hear Christians saying, "Look at all the stuff about the Big Bang that perfectly matches up to things that were already in the Bible." It's amazing.
Never mind the fact of
foresight.
the century
I find that
during
kind of
which.
mentality to be pretty rare, though. I mean,
I find it pretty common.
Personal experience.
I'm glad that you find yourself surrounded by forward-thinking religionists. That's actually only a portion of them.
Yes. Oh, forcing a religion? No, I don't. I mean, what percentage of the United States is theist? Probably over 90%?
Uh-huh, yeah. And what percentage of
like
the U.S.
85.
agrees with the theory of evolution? That's less than 50.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Right.
Just
and
goes to illustrate my point.
how many of those people who don't believe in evolution are atheists? I
Not
think
many.
bordering on 0.